Okay, Maple, you can choose two different, worksheet mode or document mode. Choose document mode. What's cool is the little help menu pops up, and you can go to like quick references, and you can click on some of these things, and like for example, this will pop up, quick help, telling you the basics of entering equations and all that crap. If you enter an expression, you do have to use the fucking arrow keys to navigate, which I don't really care for. If I just press enter, okay, it'll evaluate like that. If I go 1/2 plus 3/4, 3 divided by 4, press control equals, it'll evaluate it in place. If you scroll down to some of these tool palettes, too, this is kind of cool. You can set up a matrix, and right now I got it set to random, so you can insert it, and then it'll insert a matrix of random numbers. Just press enter, and you got your menus here where you could do various things, or I could select it and just some of these you can select and have it bring up a context menu, but I guess it's not going to do it for this. But okay, another thing you can do is certainly you can scroll through these palettes, and I assume these palettes are detachable. I really don't know, but they look like they are, but maybe not. But anyway, if you wanted to, enter like pi, you could do it that way, or you could type pi, hit escape, okay, and then do it like that. Okay. Now, I could enter, an expression such as this, and hit Alt or Control Enter. I think the Alt Enter is for Macintosh or some shit. But at any rate, I can go into this menu, and like I said, say integrate it with respect to X. Then I can actually go plot it. And there you go. Okay, now I can, change my equation, and if you click your exclamation point, it'll update. Okay, entering expressions, I don't have to type a times symbol much of the time. Minus 4x, for example, I'm just putting 4x. And sometimes you can put a space between it, but I'll get to that in a minute. But if we highlight a function, context menu will pop up, so we could complete the square, we could factor it out, or do a plot, so that's kind of cool. Fuck it, let's complete the square. Alright, and then highlight that, and we can plot that sucker. So, but yeah, if I were entering an equation, like x space x, it hold on, like 2x plus x space y. I don't know why it's not doing anything. Okay, you gotta press F5 sometimes, because when you're in document mode, like we are in right now, you know, there's no red cursor or red caret over there. You switch between text and math mode by pressing F5. I must have accidentally pressed it or something. Anyway, so take an expression like 2x. Shit, I think we're back in document mode. How does it? Yeah, we are. We're back in document mode. I don't know how the hell that happened. 2x plus x times y. You know, I just put a space between it, and it understands that those are, you know, what's going on there. So, you know, that x and y are separate variables, but I put a space between them. But I could, you know, again, we're in document mode again. I don't know why it defaults to that. It wasn't doing that earlier. Yeah. Apparently, if you God damn it. Apparently, if you press enter, it puts you into text mode automatically. If you continue from the line, you know, I'm in math mode, you can see the slanted cursor there. But if I press Alt Enter and it's in line, then I stay in math mode. I don't know if there's any way to toggle. I mean, it shouldn't default to fucking text mode, you know, when you're in a math document. That should be a, you know, that's why you may be better off working in the caret mode, but, you know, again, that's a little more crude. It's less symbolic. Okay, you know, if you wanted to take a number like this, you know, you can go approximate like 5 decimal places, okay, and have it do that. Likewise, you know, if your number has a decimal already in it, it'll actually put the format in decimal. So, okay, you know, if we, well, fuck, I gotta switch back to math mode again. See, his doesn't do that on the tutor I'm watching, and I don't think mine did it at first either. That's why I think I'm in some kind of weird mode. If we enter this equation in with just simple prime numbers, equals, damn it, 0, and hit enter, you know, well, see, it didn't do that. We're still in math mode now. Anyway, it understands that as a differential equation in primes, and I guess I could do this in context. I don't know if it'll show up. Yeah, it does. So anyway, we could swap sides or plot both sides, but you know, we could go solve dE for yx, okay, and that solves our differential equation. So, and of course, we got our constants we'd, you know, have to deal with, but now, of course, to assign values, it's just like in, you know, use colon equals. You have to type both colon and equals here, but you know, 20, and then you know, you hit a semicolon just like you do in the other editor, and then you know, I can go ASS, and then voila, and I can also reference, like, you know, like pressing Control L, you know, I can reference, you know, like let's say 18 in this, you know, but I could go 18 times 5 or 4, you know, and it'll calculate that just like it were a variable. So I guess that's the whole point to the reason I have all these numbers on the side. I've always wondered what that was all about. I'd probably never use that, but I mean, I just wondered what it was all about. By the way, you may notice this variables palette here, you know, we just defined AS, you know, 20, so that shows you the active variables at any time. And of course, you enter an expression like that, you know, sin x plus y, you know, you can wait for the context menu to show up and do a 3D plot on it if you want, you know, which you can scroll around and edit, and you can even save it as GIF files and JPEGs and all that shit. So, let's see, trying to figure out. Okay, we're in text mode right now. Huh. 2D math. But supposedly, you know, I could actually, you know, right click on our expression and do a plot like this as well. So, and you know, even go to this plot builder shit. God damn it. You know, we can build a 2D plot or whatever, you know, the 3D. You can enter the times key as well if you want, but like I said, you know, I need to update that. Change it like that. Let's see. Okay. It's a little more complicated, I guess, trying to update your plots. That's weird. Okay. And by the way, you know, this tells you if you're in text or math mode. You know, if I enter an expression like a space x plus cosine y, okay, and go to plot builder, right here, okay, we can animate the plot, but you know, we got our expression a, so you know, 0 to 10. Alright, now what that did was that parameter is actually going to be an animated parameter, so it'll actually evaluate okay, what's going on here with this is, you know, you got to actually go select this bar over here, you know, so you got text, well, it won't let you select that, but you can go drawing, plot, text mode, but that's what was going on. That's why I was having difficulty with it. Anyway, because his worked differently than that, but he's on a slightly newer version than I am. You know, 19 or whatever, version 19. Anyway, that's how to get that to work. So, So if I click out of this, you notice I set the animation mode to this a little different. I set it to oscillate. But you can do that, by going in here and setting your options. So anyway, but now, we're out of that, so we're back to just regular mode. But, you can still switch to different modes here, like text or math. But we want to be in math mode. Maybe that's what happened. Okay, now we're still in math mode, so Control L. We're still in math mode. So yep, still in math mode. So that was the secret. That's why I kept switching to text by default, because we were in text mode. So that's how to prevent that that from always flipping back into text mode. So that's interesting. Okay, this is kind of badass. If I enter like plot 3D, oh yeah, it has IntelliSense in it. Remember, I'm putting spaces between those variables. Without typing a times key. Hit escape. And you don't have to do this. I could just enter pi and leave it at that, but I like the graphical symbols. So y equals minus. Okay, it does get a little annoying. Pi. And pi again. Okay, so if I take that expression, it's a 3D plot, okay? The thing is, the undo key usually doesn't work with shit like this, but let me undo it. At least it doesn't work when you go into the plot builders. Okay, but now that I've created this expression, I can hit explore, and and basically you can choose these controls and so forth. So you get meters, or I guess a volume gauge, etc. We'll just leave it as sliders right now, and it gives you this little mini app, so you can actually go modify the values, to explore different how they affect the equation, because again A and B are parameters, and X and Y are the variables, so but these modify the variables, so it's pretty cool. Okay, I do kind of cover this in some of the other more lengthy videos, but I wanted to bring this up because it's just a short, an attempt at a short video. If you go into these tutors, you can, do like, integration methods tutor, for example. This is kind of cool. You can actually have it evaluate all steps, you would go if you're manually solving this equation. So it, it's all steps, to, basically evaluate this integral. So, I guess you can get difference, power, etc. You get all these, little things you can apply here. So it's pretty slick. And if you wanted to enter a range, you can actually have it, give you a numeric result. So it's kind of cool. And then of course don't forget about the math apps, which I was playing with earlier. I guess this is it. This isn't it. Okay, here it is. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they had all these cool little, fucking just all these different little subjects, and this is just, these are really, really, really slick. So, and it brings them up in Maple, you know, as an applet. So, you know, which that little thing with, you know, the graph there, the sliders was kind of an applet too, but these are more extensive. So, but anyway, so it's really slick. You know, another little cool one was this solid revolution. You know, reminds you to draw a graph. You know, it's got to be properly done, but so it kind of makes that. So it's pretty slick. Okay, now this is something that's really quite interesting. It's a little cumbersome to use, but see how to demonstrate this. It's this area called tasks. Okay, you hit browse and it brings you to this. It usually takes us a minute or two to load, but you know, you have the ability to copy these. You cannot enter anything in here. It won't let you do it. But what you can do is you can, you know, insert into new worksheet as one option. I don't know if it actually did that or not. But what I did was I copied it to the clipboard and pasted it in a document I had. So, but it has all these fucking worksheets. It's rather mind-blowing, you know, what all they have in here. So, you know, but these are little, just little things, little applets that you can find integral of. You know, now some of them don't really do anything. You know, some of them are really just kind of, you know, show you how to, you know, enter a function. Okay, and you know, but you can still copy it to the clipboard. You know, and paste it in your document like that. So, you know, it makes it live though, so you can go edit it here. So, of course, I guess I'd need to do that thing somehow. Error missing operation. Huh? Oh, that's weird. Huh. Huh. I guess that's part of the little deal. I typed it outside of there. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this got a live area on it, so you know, it's not like an equation that you just drop in yourself, so it's still a little special. Yeah, but at any rate, yeah, it's just pretty nifty. I mean, it's like I said, there's just all kinds of shit in there. So, like I said, you know, you got differential equations, ODEs and PDEs. You know, doesn't surprise me. It's hard to solve PDEs without it being numeric. You know, but geometry. Let's see what they got in there. Distance in 2D, distance in 3D. Equations of the line through 2D points. Okay, let's look at this. But you know, this is just like giving you a preview. And again, some of these are little, you know, things like that first thing I showed you, which are, you know, really pretty slick. And some things are just, you know, equations that, you know, you could probably just copy and paste. Although I don't know how well it would, you know, handle that, but let's try it. Yeah, So, I mean, I don't know what this does, so I mean, I just kind of randomly selected it, but at any rate, okay, that was interesting. I was going through some of these, and I hit the insert default content, and that automatically stuck it in my open worksheet. So you can see, this is in the linear algebra section, but we do have some of these, but like if I did that, okay, I don't know what that did. Oh, here it is. Okay, well, I inserted this into my document, but that didn't seem right. Okay, the first vector, let's copy to clipboard. Okay, that did it right. So anyway, it's it's just an interesting little area, so go out and check it out. You can also open up connections to SolidWorks too, by the way, in here. So and I got here by going to the packages under the tools menu. Load packages, god damn it, and go and list all packages, which is all down here at the bottom, but you can't see it. It's off your screen, but anyway, that's how I got to this, and it just brings up this this thing which shows you all these different packages that it has. So kind of like fractals, you can go in and see kind of a because it's a help system, so you can go kind of load these various things. It's almost like a language reference, in a programming language. So it gives you some examples of a lot of the things, and a lot of the commands and so forth, and that you could try out. So it's pretty slick. So it's a pretty cool little package. Like I said, it's pretty powerful. It's a little awkward, but it's pretty slick. Oh, by the way, don't forget about things like the the assistants up here, like for code generation and curve fitting and stuff like that. This is a code generating assistant that I was looking at in the other video. So you can enter Maple over here, and here's your output in these various languages. So including Visual Basic. Okay, by the way, if you have a graph here, let me delete that. Like say cosine x, and an existing graph, you can actually drag and drop the equation right onto the, right onto that graph. So that's pretty slick. Okay, there's another little shortcut. If you hit Control-Shift-G, that means Greek. The next letter you type will come out in Greek. So, like, type P, that's pi. Control-Shift-G-T would be tau. Okay, and Control-Shift-G-S, I guess, would be sigma. So I don't know how you get it uppercase versus lowercase. But at any rate, it's kind of interesting. I can't, there's no way in the program itself anyway you can go, configure keys, but there's really not much you can configure in the options. It's pretty simplistic, but I still wonder if there's like a configuration file or something. I mean, since this is like a programming language, why not? For your key routines, because they got to have like shortcut keys. I mean, I don't know. Especially for pi, and that's a very common shortcut key. I mean, it should be a like Control P or something. Okay, well that means print. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe Alt P probably means Alt and catch fire. I don't know. But okay, I just entered in this equation here, and it's an XY equation, but I wanted to show you this implicit plot function. It's actually doesn't have to be like a normal function. You wouldn't be able to, a normal graph, you wouldn't be able to actually do that, but it's an implicit plot, so it'll actually draw a circle, because the circle's not a function, right? So I mean, you can only do half of it, but this will do the whole thing. I can also do things like, say, take the number, I don't know, 1, enter it in there, and copy and drag it to the graph, and that'll show you where the number 1 intersects that. So, but it did fuck up the scale though. Okay, but now I'm going to do a Control L. 32, just so we basically repeat the equation down here, so it doesn't clutter things up, and then go solve for y. Okay, and it actually will solve it, as 2 halves of the, because it's going to have a positive and a negative half, because, that's not really a function. Okay, so let me take that and put it down there. So, hell. I guess it didn't recognize just copying and pasting stuff like that. Okay, so I can go, differentiate implicitly. And we'll do it with respect to y, x, and it gives us that result. So I don't know if I could have done it that way or not. That would have worked a little differently. So, but at any rate, so it's pretty damn slick little program. Now, of course, you can go build functions like f of t equals t squared minus 7t plus 5. Okay, and then you can evaluate it by fucking back in text mode again. Fucking piece of shit. Okay, now you can evaluate it. It won't work like that, but let's see. Okay, apparently there's one other step to making a function, which you gotta hit this. So anyway, after you do that, I should be able to go, and there we go, it evaluates it. If I go f of x, god damn it, I'm back in fucking text mode again. If you go f of x, see, it's fucking doing that. It's still flipping me back into text mode again like it was. God damn it. I'm sick of this. Okay, I'm gonna keep all my tabs closed, so if you want something, you know, it's a little easier to go find it that way. Let's enter a piecewise function, you know, like 2x plus 1, okay, tab, you hit tab to go between fields, less than 2, then 10 minus 3x, and x is greater than or equal to 2, hit enter. Okay, so let's go up to plot builder and do this over a range of like 0 to 4 and hit a preview. Okay, and there's really discontinuity there, so oh shit. Okay, like I said, there's really a discontinuity there, but we got to go check our options, okay, and go find discontinuities. Then we can go back and preview, and now that'll work. So just be nice if it actually showed up, you know what I mean? There we go. And you have to do it twice. Okay, now I'm going to take the number 3 and basically down here, just control drag onto it. You know, if you're having trouble, control drag it. You know, we can see there's a couple of points where these lines cross 3. Okay, but then, you know, I can basically go, you know, control L, 40 equals, equals 3. So, you know, if we go hit solve, just choose regular solve, you know, it solves it, so that tells you where, you know, it crosses, you know, x is equal to 3. So, you know, there's 2 solutions, so pretty cool. At any rate, yeah, there's plenty of more content, you know, on like YouTube on Maple, so if you ever want to know something, you know, I do have a Maple file under your job training, you know, in Google Chrome, you know, so there's a, under the job training folder, you know, you have a subfolder about Maple 18 is what it's titled. So, you know, if there's any relevant videos, I'll have them there if you want to watch.